having trouble accepting the Polynesians fast enough, really. You know, we can't educate them, they're not used to our way of life, they don't know the language.
My name's Diggy Dupe.
Tēnā koutou katoa, I'm Rizván.
And did you know?
We did the music for Panthers. I was the music producer, so I did a lot of the score stuff with Jonathan Crayford, who was the head score dude. He did a lot of the orchestration for the actual series itself and the scenes, but I kind of added my little bits and pieces, and we took that work and turned it into an album. And between myself, Troy Kingi, and Diggy, we kind of brought that to fruition.
So I played a character called Son of Scribe, and I'm kind of like this spiritual guide / narrator, and
You're like a ghost.
yeah, pretty much a ghost of the future. So I go back in time and I see all these things from a different from a spiritual plane, and yeah, and I made the music too.
I think a lot of it started with the script, and there were certain scenes that the producers wanted a certain feeling for, and they wanted to have like music from the actual era, so like from the 70s where the series was set and where the Panthers first formed. They were listening to heaps of like Jimi Hendrix and all that sort of stuff, so they brought Troy Kingi on because he'd done a lot of that and was amazing at it, and he brought his band into the studio and they recorded a whole lot of stuff, but they also wanted a modern take on it, which is where me and Diggy come in.
Soul is a furnace, I can feel the fire burning, embers igniting resurgence. I'm trying to define my purpose. My people are hurting, they working in labor service.
On the album, that's when we got to like put our mix on it, and we got to like go in the direction that we wanted to, because
Yeah, we could flex a bit more. There wasn't as many confines.
there was a bit more freedom, especially with like all the featured artists. Like we can't tell them how to be them.
Nah.
You know, they're just gonna go ahead and do what they do best.
It might not be super obvious when you listen through to it, but there's like this whakapapa, you know, these layers that have all gone into the songs that we chose, the themes that we're kind of rapping or singing about. There's threads everywhere that all sort of interconnect somehow. And every song that was used in the album has like a parent or a foundation in the actual show. So, you know, there's a couple of little beats that I made that play in the background of certain scenes that we went and sort of recreated and turned into songs for the album. And, you know, we used the same theme from that scene and told our featured artist that we got on, this is the theme, and that's kind of what informs it.
As a writer and as a a songwriter, we're telling stories, so we have to try and find different stories to tell. It helped me kind of break away from my mundane kind of like set themes and topics that I talk about. But I generally talk about this kind of stuff anyway, which is kind of why they got me on the project, which was cool, because it was like half of it was my real life and what's going around in my area and like where I'm from and how I grew up, and also the other half is like putting myself in someone else's shoes. Because everybody's different, and how you grow up is how you view the world. And you hate people because you don't know them.
Yeah.
But then once you understand them, they just have everyone's just different. Just like very old Maureen.
Yeah, but that's what they wanted to do with the show, is make like good TV for me, and I think for the producers as well, is where you can't really tell who the bad guy is, because you get an understanding of everyone. You understand why they're doing what they're doing.
Everybody has their reasons,
Like, well, here are the people, this is the situation,
here
are
so
the perspectives, you make up your own mind. So I think you taking on a couple of those perspectives was just an extension of that.
I didn't even learn about what happened in my own backyard. Like, I'm from Greyland, I'm from Aotearoa, Ponsonby. I learned it out of high school, like from my auntie. You know about the Dawn Raid, son? And I was like Savage and all that, like Decepticons, because that's all I know.
That was the first one.
Yeah, actually, like that's all I know about Dawn Raids was the bloody t-shirt with the logo on it. It's like, no, like the Dawn Raids that happened. If I didn't learn about it, then a whole generation didn't know about it.
I didn't learn about the Panthers until I moved to Auckland in my early 20s. And I'd hear different things about the, excuse me, about the Poly Panthers who they were, what they did. And to me, learning that Ponsonby, like what it is now, learning that it used to be like Polynesian Central in Auckland, like that was just, you know, back in the day, that was what it was.
Hard.
You know, it wasn't gentrified or anything like that. And for someone that's coming into Auckland and seeing what it is now and being told what it was, it's just jarring.
Can't believe it, eh?
Yeah, you can't believe it, man.
Yeah.
Well, like, especially with the dawn raids in particular, there's a lot of mamai attached to that from the people that went through
like,
it. It's not like a nice thing to have to bring up.
Yeah,
and
well,
relive.
it's not. But well, so was Waitangi, wasn't it? And all that other
Go
stuff.
like Bastion Point, all
Bastion
of that.
Point.
Sort of
None
stuff,
of that was thing, but it's our history.
Yeah.
But I think it's cool now with like 50 years and everything. It's kind of a resurgence and like a renaissance of it. It's coming back, and we're trying to push to get it in the education systems and to make it mandatory, which is cool, which I think they should.
I mean, it's an honor to be working on this story and being a part of the retelling of, you know, what the Polynesian Panthers did and what they continue to do and who they are and why they were fighting for what they were fighting for and why it's still relevant today. Because not a lot's changed in a lot of ways. And there's, I think, a big responsibility to make sure that, you know, we can only do our best work, but you know, this is something, like we just touched on before, it's part of our history and it needs to be told. So I think interacting with everyone that was a part of this, from the music to the show, everyone had that reverence for what we were doing, and they all brought their A game and, you know, wanted to do it right.
I felt the same way too, like there was like this burden placed upon me, and I felt like I had to step my game up, and it helped me like elevate my game in a good way, you know, like it was like a challenge. It wasn't something to be like fiffy about and stuff.
I hope that people will watch it and get interested enough to go and watch the factual series, or go and read about it, or go and like educate yourself more as to why what happened and how unjust it was. Like when you think of the dawn raids and things like that, how a guy like Muldoon can come to power and be popular implementing that strategy amongst New Zealand, and for there to be no backlash and no apology until what, 50 years?
Until like last weekend.
Yeah.
I can't even look at you when I say this. With my head bowed, eyes down, got me thinking
Yo, I'm
about what's on
Diggy.
your mind.
I'm ChoiceVaughn.
And if you don't know,
Now you know.
She ain't mad, she just disappointed. Cause I enjoy it. Missing days and skipping dates. We made appointments. Then as I